Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a bulk granola recipe for you. I'm in my workout gear just because I legitimately need some more granola and we haven't had some for a while, so I'm gonna go ahead and make it and film it for you guys while I'm making it. And this is a really simple recipe, a really easy way to do it, and you can kind of mix it up however you want. So I have a bunch of different nuts here. I have some chia seeds going on. I have some unsweetened coconut flakes. So you can really mix and match whatever you want in this recipe. I will link one in the description below. However, it's a little bit different. I'm gonna tweak it just a little bit differently, and I like to add some oats to mine. So the one that I have posted is the one that I generally follow, and I just add some oats to it. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So what you're gonna do first is you're gonna preheat your oven to about 275 degrees. It's gonna be a very slow roasting of the granola, and then you're also gonna want 2 flat pans. So I do about 2 of them at a time. That's all I can do. You can always make more and then just, make multiple rounds of this. And you can either grease your pan, or I like to use parchment paper. It works a lot easier in terms of keeping the pan clean for cleanup and then also just not sticking. So go ahead and line your tray with your parchment paper or grease it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with my oats first. You can use any kind of oats. You can use gluten-free oats if you have them. I just have some regular old-fashioned oats here, nothing fancy. And I do about probably 3 to 4 cups in mine. That's gonna fill up my 2 trays. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add the things that don't need to be chopped. So like my smaller nuts, my sunflower seeds, my chia seeds I have here, my coconut flakes. I also have pumpkin seeds. So I'm gonna go ahead and add those and probably add about a half a cup to a cup of each. I don't really measure it a whole lot. I kind of just eyeball it to see how much I want to put in. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and add our larger nuts. And these I like to chop up a little bit more. I've done it, just by hand and using a knife, but I found it to be a little bit easier if you go ahead and just stick it in a food processor and kind of blend it up as much as you want, like however fine you want. It's great for kids if they like granola. Like I like to give my daughter granola with some yogurt. It's great if you grind them up a little bit smaller. That way they're still getting the benefit of the nuts, but they're not chewing it. I know a lot of kids don't like nuts, so if they're a little bit smaller and ground up, they're more likely to eat it that way. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add my nuts to the food processor here. Again, I'm gonna do about a half a cup to a cup of each. Okay, so that's about how ground up I want. Like I said, you can really kind of grind it down into a powder if you wanted to, but I like to leave some chunkiness to it. Recommend food processing each nut individually just because there are different nuts that are harder. Like almonds are a lot harder than say cashews or pecans, so when you grind them up you're going to need to pulsate it longer on the almonds than the rest of the nuts. But once you have all of your nuts and other ingredients, whatever you want to add to it inside of your bowl, you can go ahead and just mix those together. And then we're going to go ahead and make the kind of sauce that goes on top to really give it that crispiness when you put it in the oven. One thing that I do want to add, if you're going to add any kind of dry fruit to your granola, you want to wait until after you put it in the oven to do so, because the oven will dry out the fruit. So I'm going to add some raisins to mine, but you're going to do this as the last step after it kind of cools off a little bit. Just because we don't want hard raisins. I've done that before and it's really hard on the teeth, so just wait till the end to do these. So again, I really like this recipe because you can kind of mix and match whatever you want in terms of your spices. So this recipe, I'm gonna do more of a like cinnamony kind of clove spice on top with a little bit of vanilla and some sweetener. So you can mix it up, you can make it more of a I don't know, Mexican flair if you want. Really just, you can kind of get creative with it. Okay, so what you're gonna need first is about 6 tablespoons of coconut oil. Mine is kind of already in a liquid form just from it being so hot here, so I'm gonna just pour it into mine. I actually might make a little bit more just because I feel like my batch is a little bit bigger this time, so I'm gonna actually double my sauce recipe here. Okay, so that's about 12 tablespoons of coconut oil. And now we're gonna use I'm gonna use some maple syrup in this one actually. You can use honey as a sweetener, you can use agave sweetener, whatever you prefer. So you're gonna use about a half a cup of whatever sweetener you choose. So I doubled mine, so I did about a cup. Let's go ahead and put our stove on just a low heat here. I'm gonna do a little bit of vanilla. We're gonna do about 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And then for some of the spices that I'm gonna use, I'm gonna do a cinnamon, a little bit of ginger, and some cloves. You're gonna want about a teaspoon of cinnamon. So I'm gonna do about 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And then about a half a teaspoon of some ground ginger. So I'm gonna do about a teaspoon total just to double my recipe. And then I'm also going to use some fresh cloves in mine here, so I'm going to just grind them up so they're really small. And I'm going to do about, probably about 3 cloves. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and add that to the pan. And then we just want to heat this so it mixes together fully. Since the coconut oil is already melted, it makes it pretty easy. It's more so when you have a solid coconut oil that you need to melt it on the stove. I probably could have just put this in a bowl and mixed it together. Okay, so once your sauce is fully melted and mixed together, you're just gonna go ahead and pour this right on top of your mixture of your nuts and your oats. Now you want this mixture to fully coat all of your granola mixture, so if you feel like if you need some more, you can go ahead and make more to add it on top. That smells so good. And then you just want to mix it all together. You don't want it to be too clumpy, but you want to make sure that your granola is fully covered with the liquid. You don't want to have anything really dry, or else you won't have that really good flavor. So I actually think I'm going to make a little bit more on the stove just because I'm seeing some dry spots even after I fully mix this. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that quick. That smells like fall. It's like a fall cinnamon candle almost. It smells really good. Okay, so now, yeah, this is starting to look a lot better. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take that mixture and you're gonna spread it out on your pan, and you want it to be kind of an even layer and not too thick. You want it really thin so that way it kind of cooks properly. So let's go ahead and just dump it onto our trays evenly and spread it out. Just do your best to spread the granola evenly between the 2 trays. And then we're gonna just go ahead and pop these in the oven. So these are gonna bake for about 45 minutes. However, the most important thing is to be checking these. Usually I wait about every 10 to 20 minutes just to look and to kind of mix it around so some of the underlayer stuff can get brown as well. You'll start to see the granola change color. It'll slightly get a little bit more dark as we go, and you want to just watch that for determining when you're finished with it. If you want it a little bit more done, you can continue to let it cook longer. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in the oven and set a timer for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll check on them. So there's multiple reasons why I like making bulk granola at home. One of them is granola is actually pretty expensive. I mean, a small bag, you're paying about $4 to $5 for it. And also, just you're able to control what is in it a lot more. You know, often they'll use a lot of different kinds of oils that can be inflammatory to your system, like sunflower oils and canola oils. So we definitely want to try to stay away from those if we can. And then also just being able to buy bulk nuts. If you go to like a Costco or a Sam's, you can buy big bags of nuts for probably anywhere around $15, which seems a little bit expensive, but I can make multiple batches of this granola for, you know, that big bag. So those are just some of the reasons why I choose to make my own here at home. Okay, so our granola's been in for about 15 minutes, so I'm just gonna go ahead and open it up and just stir around and see what it looks like and kind of flip it over, and then we're gonna put it right back in. So I can see that the color hasn't really changed much, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that back in for another 15 minutes, and then we'll come back and check it again. Okay, so I think we're done here. If you can see, there's that slight goldenness to it. You don't want to go too long because it can burn, but this is about the darkness that I like it, so that's it. We're gonna pull it out and put it in a big bowl. Okay, so once your granola is all cooled off, we're gonna go ahead and put it in our bowl here, and then you can go ahead and add your dry fruit.
Granola.
Granola.
Now we are gonna pour it.
Yeah.
Can I have some?
Okay, so once you have it all mixed, you can go ahead and put it in your container or whatever you're gonna store it in your pantry, and that's about it. I will leave the ingredients in the description below if you wanna check that out, and yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.